Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Decay, how are you doing? Hello, hey, Cowboys Nation, how are you doing this afternoon? Or if you're on the West Coast, how are you doing this morning? We have one good news story today, and then a whole lot of things that you're looking at that just don't seem very good if you're a Cowboy fan at the moment. The great news is primetime Phil, mojo moment. What's up, my man? Right at this moment, there ain't too many people left on the field to have a mojo moment with. There really isn't at this point. Dak Prescott is actually back throwing 7-on-7. They're ramping up his drills, and by the time we get to the season opener, he'll have done 11-on-11, provided the Cowboys still have 11 players left to actually bring out onto the field. But if you've I watched Mike McCarthy's press conference about an hour and a half ago, and Mike McCarthy seems actually a little bit testy right now because he's losing players left and right to COVID. So if you're keeping track right now, Connor Williams, who's been playing guard as well as backup center, he's been added to the COVID list. And also added to the list is Demontre Cazeez. Hey, what's happening? AKA Gibson, how are you doing? I'm going to try and make a more conscious effort to be better at pronouncing names. Some of them I just can't get. I just can't sound them out phonetically. I'm not that bright, so forgive me. Donnie Clifton, how are you doing? Alex, what's up? Mark, Easy, what's up, bro? What's up, brother? How you doing? So Connor Williams has been added to the COVID list. That's our first offensive lineman, but we've got people to go ahead and fill in the spaces there. But with Demontre Cazeez, which is also added to Joseph Hooker, as well as to Israel, I can't pronounce his last name, so forgive me. Dollar Bill, y'all, what's up? Hello, Eagles Nation. Why are you coming in here with the Cowboys? Hello, Eagles Nation. There ain't no Eagles Nation up in here. The only Eagle that we got up in here, my man, is this guy. Oh, what guy do we have? This is the only hello we got for Eagles Nation.
I fire Howie. Fucking fire the motherfucker. Stupid motherfucker. What an idiot. What an idiot. Dallas has Amari Cooper and Gallup, but we don't need a receiver. Are you kidding me? I don't want Justin Jefferson. He's ass. He's stupid. I fire his ass. I fire his ass. I mean, Howie's got to be stupid. What are you doing? You just let Dallas take him.
That's the only Eagles Nation we got up in here, my man. Dollar Bill, y'all. But I guess being a dollar bill is better than being Danny Broke-ass. Maybe you can loan him some money, man. So anyway, back to the Dallas Cowboys. Connor Williams is sitting out along with Demontre Cazeez. We know Joseph Hooker is out, as well as Israel. We're actually getting to a point, and CeeDee Lamb, of course, is on the list as well. We're getting to the point where we only have 4 safeties right now that are currently eligible to play or practice at the moment. And you have to worry that, is this going around the whole defensive backfield situation? Because, we can't afford to keep losing players. Also, too, Rico Dowdle, who was actually our third-string running back at the moment, who's shown a lot of promise, has been put on the injured reserve list. So that means he is done for the season. So that's going to make some opportunities for Henry to maybe step up and be that third running back and things. And, well, actually with Rico Dowdle, with him being on injured reserve, basically that can kick the can down the road for him to kind of make a move next year as well. So right now we're getting a lot of injuries COVID and situations out there. Also, too, where did I see it too? Because we're actually having a problem in the back end completely with our cornerbacks and safeties. So we're getting kind of thin going into Sunday's game. I know I had it here. Oh, okay. Diggs as well as Donovan Wilson will both be missing practice as well. So here, all of a sudden, you got Hooker out, you got Demontre Cazeez, you got Israel out, you got Diggs not practicing for whatever reason, and you got Donovan Wilson also missing. So it's kind of like, are we sure we're still going to have practice? And one other thing, too, that I'm actually happy I heard about is that they're practicing outside, which it's hot in Texas. Make no, it's hot in Texas. But it's going to be hot in Tampa Bay in 2 weeks. So when you play that game Thursday night, it's going to be kind of, granted it's Thursday night, but it's still humid and hot in Tampa. So practicing outside is actually going to be good for the Cowboys to try and get used to some of this heat, because you're going to have to play Tampa Bay mother humpers in the heat. So this week has been bad. So let me go through this quick article. This week has been a bit of a whirlwind when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and health and availability of their secondary members. The safety position has tumbled when on Monday it learned that free agent Malik Hooker, as well as Israel, and I can't pronounce his last name, were put on the COVID list along with CeeDee Lamb. We knew that on Monday. Matt Productions, how are you doing? Robin Simmons, what's up? Primetime Phil, yeah, he did show a lot of flashes and stuff, but unfortunately he's gotten injured. The issues was compounded by the public learning that Demontre Cazeez, another free agent signing, was told to stay away from the team while he's being retested. Well, turned out he's actually retested positive. And that snowball started with safety Donovan Wilson was walking off the field with head trainer with an unknown situation. So we also have now Donovan Wilson limping off the field. So, and it sounds like it's going to be a groin injury. So he's not practicing today. Then Diggs is out with non-COVID. So he's got like a flu. So all of a sudden, we got some real issues going on with the Dallas Cowboys in the secondary right now. And we don't know if other players are going to start testing positive as well for COVID. So, this is one of those things that you may have been exposed and, you didn't get them away from people and so on. And while you were exposed, then, they found out you got it, but you'd already been around some other people. And this makes you wonder, will the NFL start clamping down more on COVID and stuff, rules? Will we see them say, because per se, Friday and Saturday's practices are supposed to be open again? Will that still continue to happen? I think those are the last two practices they're going to. Michael, Kevin Edwards, you know what? But here's the thing, though, Kevin. I think 92% of the team has actually had COVID shots. So the thing about the COVID, now you can test positive for it and not be sick, especially after you've had the shot. Some people in their mind think, oh, you have the shot, so you've got this halo around you and it can't, attack you, or you can't breathe it. But that's not the case. I could be breathing it and I could have it in my nose and never get any symptoms or have it actually affect me. But yet it's there. It's kind of like I've told you guys where I had the Streptococcus A infection in my knee. Dr. Phillip, what's up, man? So wait a minute, I got Primetime Phil and I got Dr. Phillip. Man, we missed you, man. But here, and Dr. Phillip can probably reiterate on this too, but you actually have different kinds of bacteria and stuff. You've got strep viruses that are just sitting on your skin. Doesn't mean that you're going to get it and get strep throat. So you could test positive for having COVID virus in your system without it being able to attack you. But if you have it in your system, as you breathe it out, you can be breathing it onto somebody else. So this is the problem of, I like to think of the movie, I think it's Fallen, with John Goodman and Denzel Washington. You know how it's this spirit, this evil spirit that literally it just jumps from one person to the other. That's kind of like the COVID. I got trust issues and now COVID. Gene Jones, you got trust issues and now COVID. Man, I hope the COVID's not bad for you, man. I pray for you. Be happy that this is 2 weeks out. 2 weeks, true. But the problem, Primetime Phil, is, we learned about CD and things on Sunday, or was it Monday? So here it is now. We're at Wednesday. Now we got 2 more guys. So what happens if 2 days from now we got 2 or 3 more guys? So this is the problem, is where does it end? At some point you'll get those guys back, but it's definitely interrupting practice. You don't have any safeties to practice with. Our secondary is right now decimated completely. A lot of them tests are very faulty and have false positives. Well, that may be true, and let's hope that that's the case. But at the moment, they can't practice until they get clear tests, and that's why with Demontre Kazeez, they had to do follow-up tests on him. Any surprises? We haven't really cut too. I mean, we only made 3 cuts on our team so far. So, I mean, we cut a kicker and, a couple other guys that have had a cup of coffee. So, no, nothing surprised me yet as far as cuts go. No, not at all. Not at all. But I am happy that Dak is actually ramping it up and passing more. And I guess without having any any safeties and D-backs anymore, that he should look really, really good. Another move, of course, we cut the kicker yesterday. Greg Zuerlein is officially activated off the PUP list, so he's back and going to be kicking this weekend. People won't take the vaccine, but will take Tylenol. Or people won't take the vaccine, but they'll do meth. Okay. The safety problem is we got 3 of them in COVID protocol. We have Joseph Hooker, we have Israel, and we have Demontre Kazeez, all in COVID protocol. I tell you what, as long as my teeth don't touch, it's okay. It's okay. But if I start eating, and I go down too hard on this side, even though I'm not eating on that side, that shit hurts. And I'm just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, it's a little sore. We're starting where we left off last year's with Indy. I hate to say, well, if there's good news on this one, though, 88, if there's good news on this one, this is a 6-day type injury, okay? It's only 6 days. This isn't like somebody tore up their knee or ruptured an Achilles tendon and they're done for the season. They're only done for, a week of practice this week, getting ready for the Texans game. So if that's the case, then they'll be back for Tuesday's practice. Theo Klein, I appreciate that. Glad that you enjoy listening to it. Just like to try and keep everybody informed of what's going on and stuff. But I kind of, if you watch the press conference of Mike McCarthy has done a 180. This is the first time thus far this season that I've seen Mike McCarthy really kind of on edge and a little bit testy. And I don't know if it's, he had said that, the practices haven't been that great, that they've been, haven't been crisp. And I think he's getting a little bit edgy. And maybe this is the build-up for the season finale of Hard Knocks. So that way he ends up going off in the locker room and stuff. But definitely he seemed a little bit different today. We got some news, Mark. Well, Tropical Mayhem. The news we got is, Israel was back in practice. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that then. Tropical, you just updated me. From what we got from Mike McCarthy's press conference 2 hours ago, he had still had him on the list, so he must have just gotten off. Devin Johnson, please tell me what virus does not spread or mutate, vaccine or not. Laugh out loud again. Vaccine is not the cure, and no cure for any type of virus, just increases your chances of not dying. And I'll take chances of not dying over more chances to die at any time. What's the word on Wilson? Ankle, I believe, for Donovan Wilson. Ankle. He left, and they have not said how severe it is. Jesus, or what's going on, man? Yo, Mark. One question, are they retesting all the players? Yes, they do, because the thing with Demontre Kazee, he was actually tested, and they had to retest him today, and he still had another positive test, so that's where he got put on there. But once you've been tested or you've been exposed to somebody who has, then you have to start going to the protocol and, of course, stay away from everybody else and get tested. So that's where they are with that. And also, too, if you just tuned in, Rico Dowdle has been put on injured reserve. So our third-string running back will be gone for the season. This gives a little breathing room for Henry. Just hope he can keep his contacts in or just keep wearing the goggles. Wilson is a groin. Okay. DiNucci won't get that red card till probably next Tuesday, okay, because that's the next cut day. That's when they have to make the final roster cuts. JJ, the Cowboy kid, how you doing? How many wins do I think the Cowboys are going to have? I've been saying 11-6. You know, I don't want to go out there too far. I don't want to go out there too low, but I think 11-6 is definitely doable. I think they may do better than that, but, you know, here's the thing. All of a sudden you get something like, let's say this COVID happened during the season. Like, let's say this week we were playing, and all of a sudden we done lost Demontre Kazee, we lost Connor Williams, we've lost CeeDee Lamb. You know, all of a sudden you lose that kind of firepower, those kinds of players. Those are all guys that are instrumental in your team's success. And if you lose them, you know, on one of these big game weeks, you could lose a game that you shouldn't lose. So, you know, you never know. It's going to be a crazy season, to say the least. I don't think Beasley tested positive, but I think he was exposed to somebody that was. And so once you are, you're actually put basically on a 5-day, you know, waiting list. Bobby Domingo says 11-6 sounds about right. Yeah. I think that's about right. You know, the schedule itself is not that bad, at least looking at it from the standpoint of how teams played last year. Okay, we've got the NFC East. Dak Prescott has been 19-6 in the NFC East in his career. So you look at that and say the Cowboys should go at least 4-2, maybe 5-1. In our division. So let's see, you got 5 victories right there. You've got Carolina. I think you can beat Carolina. You got Atlanta. I think we can beat Atlanta. New Orleans now with Jameis Winston. If Jameis Winston plays like he did the other night, that's not going to be an easy out because they got a great defense too, and he can throw the ball out. You got Tampa. You got Tampa Bay. What's up, cuz? How you doing? You got Tampa Bay, of course. That ain't going to be an easy one, although I think we beat Tampa Bay on the season opener. I just have that feeling. Then we go out west. We play against Denver. I think you got a chance against Denver. Teddy Bridgewater was just named the starting quarterback. For Denver. You got the Raiders, and I still am mystified why John Gruden does not get more flack than he does, because they're not good. Of course, you've got Kansas City. They're good. And you got San Diego. Now, San Diego, they're a good team, but I think you got a chance against San Diego. You're going to be playing in California, which is kind of like a home game. Did I say San Diego? Excuse me. L.A. Chargers. Still just does not sound right. I think you got a chance against them in L.A., you know, as well. And then we've got the Cardinals. We've got the Vikings, and we got New England. I think you can get did Kirk Cousins get the shot? I don't know if he did or not. I know he was adamant about not getting it like Cole Beasley. The only reason they focus on Beasley's is because he's not going to take the jab, but multiple players on his team have tested positive after taking the jab. Yeah, well, Cole Beasley's no longer our issue. Okay. Hawk, you're smoking the best weed ever. Okay. Well, are you smoking it with Randy Gregory? Alarcon? Okay, so Leo, Alarcon. I'd like to see him actually have a little bit more meat on him. He still looks kind of thin. He's actually got pretty good he's had some pretty good blocks. He's a little bit high. And the thing, and this is, and Hawk apparently is a little bit high too, okay? But we're talking about two different highs here. But Alarcon is, the problem with football is it's leverage. And sometimes this is where a shorter guy actually has an advantage because they are actually a lower center of gravity because it's really the person who can get lower on the pads. Sometimes, and I think they talked about this even in Hard Knocks last night, you get a little bit high. When you get a little bit high, Hawk will say some crazy things, but when you get a little bit high, it's easy to make moves around you. It's harder to adjust. That's where you got to be low, and you got to basically have, I call it like a Z, because your knees and back are all kind of bent at about a 90-degree angle. You're able to get more leverage, and you're able to use your hands better and recover. When you get up kind of high, you get kind of like this whole, like you're a sail, and you can get pushed around and you lose it. And that's the thing I looked at Quentin Bohannon. The thing with Quentin Bohannon is that's another guy who gets high. Not like Hawk high, but gets high in this rushing. And when you start playing the chess games in pass rushing or pass blocking, you're done. You've lost your leverage. You've lost your ability to make moves. You're body to body, and it's hard to separate. Based on the schedule and the fact that I believe the defense we will be somewhere between 13 and 16 this year. You mean 13 to 16 wins? Okay. Anything's possible. But you know what? You put it out there, you're gonna hear that forever. I'm not ready to say that one right there. We've got teams. You're gonna win some games that you shouldn't win, and you're gonna lose some games that you shouldn't, and that's it. It all kind of evens out in the wash. JJ. That would be a tall task to say he's going to be the best quarterback in 2021. It's possible, but see, I'm going to say like Roger Staubach said, I can throw the passes, but if Drew Pearson's not catching those passes, I'm not in the Hall of Fame. So, you can make a lot of great passes. Well, is Michael Gallup going to drop any of them? Are we going to have, unnecessary roughness calls that bring back big plays? Who knows? It's a possibility. He certainly has the weapons to be out there to get some incredible numbers. Is there really a problem with his arm and his shoulder? Do the Cowboys decide we're going to go ahead and go out and try and run the ball more? Susie, how are you doing, Susie? Are they going to try and run the ball more to take off some of that pressure from Dak Prescott, like they did with Tony Romo in 2014. He was on pace last year, but also, though, Phil, that's not where you want to be. You don't want to have to go ahead and try and throw 450 yards a week. That's not a winning formula. What you hope for is more efficiency where you've got a balanced offense that Zeke is, getting on like, say, 1,400 yards, rushing the football, where you are able to distribute the football, where your defense is keeping people down points-wise. And in the second half, you can kind of run out the clock and just run the football. So if you're having to score, 30-plus points every week to win, that's hard to maintain it. Hawk, Cowboys 14-3, Eagles 13-4. Note, okay, Hawk. Yeah, Hawk, you're smoking the good shit there, bro. You got the Cowboys with 14 wins, the Eagles with 13, the no names with 13, and the Giants with 12. I don't think that that's impossible, but they got to have some. You basically saying everybody's going to kill everybody else outside of the division. I don't see how that's possible, bro. If you're the only team in week 2 not to score any points in the preseason. Yeah, you're talking about the Eagles. Yeah, well, but again, I'm going to say it's practice. It's not a real game. Not a real game. We're talking about practice game. So I'll give them a pass on that one. But this week, too, it might be the same thing during the season. Then I'll ride their ass. He was told to play. He played, and he did what was asked of him. Whether he should or shouldn't be because of defense is different. He's capable. Cowboys win at least 11 games. Giants win maybe 5 or 6. Washington wins 8. At best, Eagles won't win more than 4. Wow. You are the polar opposite of Hawk on that one. Wow. Jalen sucks. Boy, everybody's on the Jalen bandwagon of Sucksville. I feel like Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch are basically being made to be the scapegoats completely, or the guys that have to fall on the swords for the defense. It's almost sad, actually, watching Hard Knocks last night, when you see where Jalen Smith is just kind of like an afterthought. That, this was, as Jerry Jones had said last year, one of the cornerstone pieces of the roster. And here it is. They got nothing. Eagles can't fly without wings. There you go, Susie. I like Jalen, but hard to argue for him. I want him as depth. And that's basically what you're going to have. You've got one of the most expensive depth players out there. And that is what it is. Info on the deadline cuts. Well, AI Smalls. Well, here's an interesting take here. A lot of it's going to depend on how many players you end up having on COVID list. The Cowboys only had to cut one person yesterday, which ended up being the kicker that they signed, because they had 4 players on the COVID list. Now, depending on when they come back, if there are players still on the COVID list, they don't count against your 53-man roster. So you can actually delay some of these cuts. But they are still the symbol for America's like your team. I feel like Rico Gathers gets more love than Jalen. There's almost a cult for Rico Gathers, and I'm part of that too, because I looked at Rico Gathers, and Rico seems like the player that the Cowboys just screwed up. I mean, seriously, I thought Rico would have been a good pass-catching tight end, but instead they said, you've got to be a blocker. He put on that weight, and he was just never the same. Cowboys 12-5, Washington football team 6-11, Giants 5-12, and Eagles 1-16. Damn! I think Jalen's plays made Leighton Vander Esch look bad, but I think Parsons on the field makes Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen better. Well, I think Parsons on the field makes everybody better, because now all of a sudden teams are having to say, don't let that guy beat us, and they lose focus on the other ones. Yeah, Kevin Edwards, he was good at catching the football. Once they tried to make him into a blocker, that pass catching, that running like a gazelle down the field and being able to leap just went out the door. They killed him. They literally killed him. There was no ifs, ands, or buts on that. Let me check something real quick here, guys. I was waiting for an update and see if there was anything yet. All right, so big step for Dak Prescott. He was in team drills for the first time since July 27th, and he was in for 18 plays. 18, okay? 11 completions, 1 batted down pass near the line of scrimmage by Jaron Kearse, 6 handoffs. This is the longest pass, was about 30 yards, completed to Blake Jarwin. Hawk 215. Hey, Hawk. Pass the Dutchie from the left-hand side. Philly says they're going to start the season two. What? Oh, wait a minute. I got to go back to that, Hawk. Philly 500 said they're going to start the season 2-0, knowing the Eagles playing Dallas week 3. Oh, man, you got to be Hawk. He didn't really say that, you're making – Hawk, you said you were smoking some good stuff. He's not even that dumb to say that, is he? Is he? He's a dingbat. Shout out to you for the super chat, my man. Appreciate that. Michael, where is Michael? Jeez. I'm beginning to think he ran away, man. I ain't seen Michael since when was the last time I saw Michael? Saturday. You know, I think he picked up the phone and he said, Dad, I ain't never coming back. Click him. I'm sitting. He was supposed to have been back yesterday. Then I heard he was going to be back today. And then he ain't here, so I don't know. I hope the boy's okay. Jabril Cox was a steal. Philly has them beating Atlanta and 49ers the first 2 weeks. Okay. Atlanta's a possibility. Yeah, you can beat Atlanta. You can get Atlanta. I'm not the 49ers. No, I don't think it. Even with Jimmy G. Sorry. No, timeout. We did not cut. Rico goes on injured reserve. Rico Dowdle ended up being injured. I don't know what the injury is, but he's injured on injured reserve, so he will be out for the season. So that opens up possibilities for others. Yeah, that was the end of that update. Michael Anthony is with the ladies? Maybe. I should. Oh, actually, I do actually make my. I make it. I don't sell it. I make my own barbecue sauce for here. But yeah, they killed Rico like the dumbest. Let Jimmy Smith out of the building. Yeah, true. The 49ers are going to kill the Eagles. Well, we all know. Okay, Philly 500 said they were going to go 13-3 last year, so there's that. Our defense will be top 15. I think that's possible. Washington jumped up 20 spots last year, 20 spots. So changing coaching, a few players, and boom, all of a sudden they are a beast. And I think that's a possibility for us as well. That's not out of the range. We want to keep him. Well, he's on injured reserve, which means he can't play this season, but we own his rights. And that's, that could have been one of those things that the Cowboys were doing that preemptively to hold on to him, but he won't be able to return this season. That's the only problem with that. Ready for week 1. I'm ready for week 1 because we're only 15 days, 5 hours, 28 minutes, and 30 seconds away from that. So I definitely ready for week 1. Yeah, Kevin Edwards. That's what's amazing because, they were 24th in total defense the year before, and they moved up to 20th. They moved up to 4th. But I'm going to put a caveat on that thing, though, still. When you think about our division, the Eagles' offense was ass. Our offense was ass in those 2 games without Dak Prescott. And the Giants, that's 6 games against teams that were terrible. Gene, got you covered. Thank you very much. You see Quinn pairing Parsons and Leighton Vander Esch on plays as opposed to always having Parsons and Keanu. I think you're going to see a lot of Micah Parsons out there. I think they're going to basically look and say, you are just our designator go get me the ball guy. You're the designated go get me the ball guy, and they'll probably rotate the other guys in there more than him. You don't want to take a weapon like him and keep him on the sidelines for too long. You want to release him. Let me see if I can find out what the injury was on Rico. The thing is, everything I've seen, it's all like he's out for the season, but hip injury. It's a hip. A hip injury will end the season before it even started. He was leading the team in rushing this preseason. Yeah, so he had 99 yards with 22 carries. It was also a team high in preseason. Not sure if he will undergo surgery, but will not be allowed to return this season. So, yeah, because if you're put on injured reserve after the first week, then you can be designated to return. If it's before the season starts, you're done, which doesn't really make sense to me because you're out there longer. So he will not play any this season then. So that gives an opportunity for some other guys. Brian, David Wiley, who's going to be here Saturday for our fantasy football draft, is actually talking about taking over the cooking duties because he's a chef and I'm just a guy who burns some shit up. I think he was talking about some smoked wings. Sean Simmons, I'm never disappointed by the Cowboys, but you're right. In a sense, I get disappointed in wasted talent. Kevin Edwards, you hit the nail on the head because you know what? When you think about some of the players that have come through the locker room over, the last 10 years between DeMarcus Ware and then DeMarcus Lawrence, when you think about Jason Witten, when you think about Dez Bryant and like Amari Cooper, when you think of Tony Romo and to Dak Prescott, when you think about some of these great players, when you think about Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Travis Frederick, you've had more than your share of really good players on this team. And yet, for whatever reason, the Cowboys just have not been able to put together. Now, if you were to ask me, I'm a bit superstitious. I know it's crazy to think that. I am superstitious. Well, burn your brisket fine. Just make sure you got the A1. Okay. Tommy John. Who said he had Tommy John's injury? Nobody said he had Tommy John. Tommy John's injury is the elbow. What are you talking about? Joseph Sanchez. See, that's how shit gets started. It's his lat muscle, back muscle. Oh, okay. I can't. I can't. I just can't. I can't. But when you think about some of the players that have gone through here, the fact that we had, DeMarco Murray with 1,800 yards, and then he followed up with getting Zeke Elliott for all these years. And it's just kind of like, you've had some great pieces in here, and it doesn't make sense. And here's my theory on here is I'm superstitious. I know it's crazy to believe that a guy with the voodoo doll is superstitious, but I am. I really believe that there's been a curse with Jerry Jones. From the time he ended up firing Jimmy Johnson, he did get Barry Switzer, and they won that one in spite of Barry Switzer. But when you think about the two teams that we had that failed, that were definitely teams that could have been Super Bowl teams, the 2017, think about this, 2017, 12-4, 13 Pro Bowlers. 13 Pro Bowlers. Boom. Lost to the Giants. Giants that were a wild card team. On our own soil. You think about Tony Romo's year that we lost in Seattle with that field goal try, the fumble snap. How does that? Where did that come from? You don't think that was kind of like the football gods kind of blew the ball off his hands? They just kind of like, it's like, what the hell? Where did it, right? Is that possible? And then you think of 2014. DeMarco Murray, 1,800 yards. Tony Romo, 3,700, 36 TDs, right? The Great Wall of Dallas 2, offensive line. Beast. And then here it is, a catch, no catch. A call so borderline that to this day it's still debated. Is it possible that that's divine intervention? That it's the football god saying, you shouldn't look. You're bad enough taking out Tom Landry. Now you done taken out Jimmy Johnson. So enough of this shit. You're not going to have any more good coaches until you repent. And maybe this year, Jerry Jones saying, you know what Jerry Jones said, right? You know what he said. Oh, at least I thought I knew what he said. Jerry Jones said this.
Come to my mind, we had a great run of it. He's a great coach, and I'm proud to have him as a friend and proud to have had the times that we had. We just had a great experience.
Can you answer Switch's question now?
What?
Do you think you could answer Barry's question now?
I've never been able to know why. I fucked it up. That, not just that, but anything else. No, I can't answer those questions.
Okay, he fucked it up. He fucked it up. And it seems like it's been fucked up for all these years. So is it possible, Cowboys Nation, that him having the come to Jesus moment and saying, I fucked up, I was wrong, and trying to make amends, that maybe the curse has been lifted? I don't know. I'm just asking you guys. There's no crying in football. You know what, Art? If it means the Cowboys get the Super Bowl, I'm gonna bawl my heads. I will bawl my heads out. I'm still trying to hear where somebody said that Tommy Johns. Tommy Johns is I'm looking here. I'm like, that's a new one on me. I see nothing. Uh-oh. Hold on for a second here, guys. Hold on for 1 second. Hang on. Hello? What's going on? Saw that he was, yeah. They took him in and questioned him on it. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
You're up, and then James Harris.
Jimmy Johnson, let me first say congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. Watching that live on television, that raw emotion was just beautiful. Yeah, that's good old Skip Bayless. I have so many questions for you. I think about the only way I could get them in is to get a cooler of beer and head out and go fishing with you.
Hi, Mark.
But leaving the University of Miami and coming to the Dallas Cowboys, and at that time they were basically broke, busted, and thoroughly disgusting to watch. Having gone from the pinnacle down to the depths, What was that like? And the second part of this question would be, played football at JMU with Charles Haley, and knowing the character that he is and all the personalities that you had with the Cowboys, how were you able to mold them and keep them focused on the grand prize, which was winning?
Don't let that idiot get up
Well,
in your skin.
first of all, people look back on it and they say it was an easy decision to leave University of Miami.
Yeah.
But we had gone through 4 straight seasons where we played a national schedule and been on national television every other week and only lost 2 regular season games. And so we had a powerhouse football team, and I knew it was going to continue that way because we had a great, group of talent. And then going to Dallas, Tom Landry is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But they had 3 straight losing seasons. They are at the bottom of the NFL at 3-13 because they just didn't have any talent. And obviously there were some older players that helped us, in winning our Super Bowls. But a lot of it had to do with, I brought in Tony Wise, my offensive line coach.
I mean, you see ESPN is trying to get Michael
he put together what is considered one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history. But he did it with a free agent defensive tackle, Mark Tuinei, at left tackle. Yeah. He did it with a left guard where the previous staff said get rid of him because he was too fat, Nate Newton. We took a 3rd round pick, 245-pound offensive guard. I asked Tony, I said, can you convert him to a center? He said, I'll make him into a center. So we moved Stepnoski to center. And then we took a 7th round pick, Kevin Gogan, who had struggled his early years. We moved him to guard and took a 3rd round pick, Eric Williams, at right tackle. So, those players hadn't developed, but Tony Wise was able to develop them into a great offensive line. And so, the combination of having some great assistant coaches and acquiring a lot of talent with 51 trades in 5 years, we were able to win that Super Bowl. So it was a great feeling.
Thank you very much on that.
I'll follow up about Charles Haley.
Yes, he was a character.
He is a character, but he is one of my favorites.
Charles
and I developed a great relationship.
I believe Dak
after a few rocky roads there early in his career at Dallas. We had a couple of run-ins, but we really got together. Really, he came in my office after I had berated him a couple of times at one of the ball games, and he said, "Coach, he said, if you will just get on to me one-on-one in your office," he said, "I'll do anything in the world for you. I love playing for you." He said, "But just don't embarrass me in front of the other players." And I said, Charles, I may not always be able to do that, but I'll try. But from that time forward, we had a great relationship, and he was a big part of us winning Super Bowls.
Thank you very much. And how about them Cowboys?
I should have trademarked that.
James Harris.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Well, he started practicing yesterday, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you're not the Dallas Cowboys, they do not care. They know you put Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones, people are going to look. They just are. You put Jeffrey Lurie and, Jalen Hurts, who cares? Nobody cares. Dak gets a hangnail. It's major news. Okay. Okay. I won't. Okay. I won't. I wouldn't put that out there by damn self. It'll be right. Yep. It's a breaking story. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. There you go. He forgot to flush. Oh, it's breaking news. He doesn't flush the toilet. Oh, man. All right. Well, let me give you a buzz back on this stuff. So let me get back to my crowd here because they're like, what's he doing? It's like, okay. All right. Peace out. That was funny. Okay. I apologize, guys. I apologize. It's just sometimes there's certain things that happen in life that you got to pick up the phone. Yeah, that's when you see the wife calls and you're not expecting, it's like, so I need to take this. Okay, I need to take this call. But somebody was reminding me of something that I was listening to before I went on, and probably when I play this, it'll probably get the YouTube gods will get me on it. But I want to play it. I don't remember where exactly in it was, but this is the hypocrisy that drives me crazy that people do. The whole Adam Schefter, going through and saying the whole shoulder and he won't be 100% and everything else. It's like, are you working with them? I mean, what's the sources on this? Do you really know? Or is this just that you're doing like you did with Aaron Rodgers and just kind of saying, well, if we put the pieces together, Aaron Rodgers is going to get out of there. But the way you brought it across was like you just gotten, news that Aaron Rodgers is not returning on the day of the draft. So people are making decisions by what they're hearing from people like you that are deemed credible sources. So let's listen to this just a little bit. I'm not going to put the video up on it. Maybe that'll help. But there was a couple things that Skip Bayless said that were definitely lies.
Got to see him playing cards with teammates, and he also shared his childhood fear of people in costumes. So, Shannon, what have you learned about Dak from Hard Knocks so far?
Skip, I already knew Dak was a good guy. His teammates really like him. Mm-hmm. He's a really down-to-earth guy. Plays cards with the guys. He goes out, probably goes bowling. They probably do a lot of things together. Yep. So there's nothing not to like about Dak Prescott, even though playing spades looks like him and Zeke got set on that last hand. Looked like they ran a 10 for 2 on him. So
they did.
I noticed that.
So they can't win the Super Bowl now.
The mailroom, Jonathan Jackson. I loved him. He took it over.
Hey, you ain't no hard feelings. Zeke ain't no hard feelings when you come into the stadium. Skip, Dak's a good leader. He's the type of quarterback that you want, a guy that guys gravitate towards. He's going to do the right things. He's going to be prepared mentally, physically. Yeah, he has a little setback not dealing with the lat muscle, the sprain in his lat. But, Skip, there's nothing not to like about him. Now, we didn't get a whole lot. The previous episodes, we learned a little bit about the shoulder, possibly when he possibly come back. Then we didn't get anything about that last night. And so I don't think that was an accident.
I
don't think that was an accident. I think, hey, Dak, you putting too much information out there. We don't want this out there. Let's just go play it out. September 9th's going to roll around. Mm-hmm. You're going to trot out there, be up under the center, and we'll move from there. But Skip, for me, I didn't learn anything different about Dak that I didn't already think or didn't already know. I thought he was a good guy. He came across as a good guy, a guy that his teammates like being around, gravitate towards. That's the type of guy that you can win with.
Mm. Oh, now you can win with him.
Okay. First of all, a quick observation about Ezekiel Elliott. So we got to see inside a quarterback room meeting, and the conversation starts with Zeke talking about why he has always been afraid of mascots. They're like Dak's people in costumes, but he doesn't like mascots. They just they bother him.
Right.
Just their general
kind of like
appearance.
you bother us.
And I'm thinking,
looks like you wearing a mask there too.
What's Zeke doing in the quarterback room?
Right.
And then I read in today's USA Today that he has long been allowed to attend quarterback meetings to streamline communication. This is just my hunch from a distance. I think he's long been allowed to attend because he and Dak are like that.
Right.
They are joined at the hip.
Yes.
And they're good for each other because they vibe off each other. And I think they both said, hey, we spent a lot of hours.
There's a reason why I'm playing this.
Let Zeke come into the quarterback meeting because there'll be a lot of communication that can actually help him in that meeting. And I agree with that. But I have
Cowboys
never,
Nation,
ever
how you
heard
doing?
of a running back sitting in the quarterback room.
Never.
Have you?
Nope.
And I will bet you no other team in this league has a running back in the quarterback room as we speak.
Even when I was going to have running back responsibility, Skip, I was going to have to block from the backfield. I never sat in there. It was just, we talk about that in the offensive meeting. I went in my own meeting and they said, okay, Shannon, this is what we're going to need you to do. You're going to motion to the backfield and you scan 1 to 2.
Is it respected?
Liz, obviously, you got the guy off the edge or one of those guys. If they go rip, you go to the other side. But I didn't go in the quarterback room, Skip. I just didn't. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but that's not how we normally do it.
You concur it's unusual.
It's very
as
unusual.
in highly
Very unusual.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
very.
So
Next
now
thing
this
I
is an
noticed
issue.
about the seating in the quarterback room, the spacing is that Dak now sits in the first row of seats that go above the table, at which all the other quarterbacks and coaches are sitting. So he's a little bit removed into himself, which that's his new stature. He's going to make $75 million next year. He is the unquestioned leader of
So
this
you got a problem with him
franchise. He is
getting
the face of the
$75 million?
franchise. But he's not sitting among them elbow to elbow. He's in a seat one row up above.
Okay, so I just want to go through this whole thing. So you first of all hear the whole thing. Well, he's going to make $75 million next year, but you don't look at what he didn't make all those other years where Kirk Cousins has made $200 million. By the end of this season, this year, Kirk Cousins will have made over $200 million. Kirk freaking Cousins. But he's, Dak Prescott's going to get, okay, all right. So what does that have to do with anything? Quarterbacks are overpaid.
Of the table, I'm good with that. I sort of like the body language of that because I am the man in here.
Yeah, but Skip, now these meeting rooms are so big. I mean, when I was playing, wasn't nobody sitting up on nobody because the room was only so big.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the star. That's the $1 billion empire.
You really got like
Jerry
4 people
Jones.
in there.
Okay, I got it. So,
Joshua Johnson. I hope that's right.
Because I've gotten to see inside Dak Prescott in ways I had no idea about because he is very guarded in interviews. I often feel like after games, he works hard at saying little.
Skip Bayless, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. He is guarded. He is guarded. Are you kidding me? He is guarded. The man came out last year and said he deals with depression after losing his mother, after his brother committing suicide, after going through COVID and not being able to be with his people. He put out about the most vulnerable statement that you could put out there and say that I deal with depression. So if you are feeling this too, you're not alone, which opened the door for so many people to feel like if Dak Prescott, the quarterback of America's team, can feel the same way I do, then there's nothing wrong with me. And now you're saying he's so guarded? And if I remember right, you were the jackass that said, I don't know if I want him to be a quarterback of America's team, because you got to basically, suck it up and everything else. I can see a defensive lineman coming through there and sacking him. Are you depressed now? He literally said that shit. You are so contradictory that I can't even say it. I can't even say it, Skip. That's some bullshit right there. You can't have it both ways, dog. Let's go a little deeper.
Like he avoids, he ducks, he dodges.
Right.
He avoids questions, especially potentially negative questions, better than he does pass rushers.
But one thing the quarterback knows, Skip, anything that he's
Philly D, shout out to he avoids negative questions. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys. I'm gonna ask you honestly now, and maybe I am jaded. Dowdle, not a diddle. Dowdle has a hip injury and is put on injured reserve. I'm gonna ask you guys: Am I wrong on this? Am I the only one that sees this? Because to me, that's some BS. That's some BS. Let's listen to some more.
Say can and will be used against him.
Well, obviously.
His word is dynamite. He said something negative after a ball game, Skip.
Especially for that team,
Yes.
America's team,
Yes.
on that stage
Yes.
at the $1 billion star and in Jerry World.
Right.
You have to be exceedingly careful. And remember what he had to do. He had to beat out Tony Romo, who to a lot of people was godlike.
Well,
right?
he was godlike to Jerry.
He was. No, he was. And to be able to navigate those deep
Yes.
waters and take over that team.
There's another part to this. That's why
he
I'm
learned to play
listening.
the media game in ways that aren't good for us, because I'd like to know a little bit more. Well, I'm getting to see way deep inside, because Dak is getting more and more comfortable through these episodes. What do we have? Just one left? I think it's just one more.
Yep.
4 episodes. This was the third.
Shannon,
And
Skip and Shannon.
He's showing me, he's, so to speak, letting his hair down. He's showing me inside him in ways I had no idea.
Yeah.
I only know him really as a competitor on the football field. And the story he told was kind of chilling, but it was eye-opening about he just doesn't like people in costumes. And he said it carried on until he was in middle school. He's telling his mother, I fear him, because his point was, you never know who's inside that costume. He says that's the perfect place.
Stop right there, Skip Bayless. Stop right there, because you are that guy in a fucking costume. You are that person that people fear because, oh, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm a diehard. That's my team. But you are that clown in a costume that throws their shit in the trash. You are the one that throws them under the bus for actually being vulnerable and admitting the truth, and make it belittle him and try to literally make it seem like, oh, he's not the guy. And then turn around. Oh, well, you got to take a team-friendly contract. You're getting paid all this money. You jackass are getting paid how much money? How much money? How much money? Nobody's telling you that you should take less money when your contract came up, did they? This is the hypocrisy of Skip Bayless that is freaking insane. Let's go on some more, because you see the whole point. You hear the whole point.
Place to kill somebody. And he goes on to say, and that she understood. And he said, y'all think it's a fake chainsaw that guy in the costume is carrying, but you don't know if one of them crazy, as you say, mofos, put a blade on that B word one day, as in the chainsaw might have an actual blade on it instead of a rubber blade, right? So it was a great story, because I thought, oh, well, that's his one deep phobia. You know, like he has a fear of people in costumes because he doesn't know what their motive might be.
I think the thing is also what I like about him, Skip, is that although I'm the quarterback, yes, I'm the highest paid, yes, I'm the face of the franchise, he doesn't put himself above the teammates.
No.
He's also a guy, Skip, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones go to bed, they're never going to get a call about Dak Prescott.
Here it comes. Here comes the other part.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Just for the record, just to be completely objective, he did have a DUI.
Yeah,
Wrong, buddy. Wrong. He was stopped for DUI. He was taken in under suspicion of a DUI. And I heard an interesting story. Interesting, and you can say I'm a liar, because people will say, when I said that, that Stephen A. Smith actually punched Jobu, they said I was a liar, but actually the video that I'll upload a little bit later is actually, you'll see Stephen A. Smith actually giving a right cross to Jobu and knocking him down. But anyway, what I was told was when Dak was at the police department, he asked them for his cell phone, right? Now, if you're drunk now, the guy tossed it to him, and Dak caught it from behind his back. How many drunk people that are catching a cell phone behind their back, handcuffed? So that case was dismissed. But see, what he just did was, I hope Jerry Jones never gets a call in the middle of the night. I hope. Because he did have that DUI back in college. This is where you're kind of twisting shit around and not telling the whole story right to make somebody look bad. You're talking about a guy who's got Stand Up for Cancer. You're talking about a guy who has all kinds of teaching classes. You've got a guy who does more charity work than almost anybody else out there. And you're trying to, you're talking about a guy who's literally in the middle of a freaking football game and he throws his can and misses a trash can and he gets up and puts it in the trash can. Who does that? Who does that? Dak Prescott does. And now you're saying, well, I hope Jerry Jones doesn't get that call in the middle of the night. And he's got this whole attitude that he should just be thankful that the Dallas Cowboys had mercy on him and just gave him all this money, the $75 million he's going to get paid this year. Shall I go on? Shall I go on?
College.
At Mississippi State.
Yes.
Just one.
Yeah, I think
Just one.
You know, I think he got that out of his system and he realized that, you know what? I want to enjoy, because a lot of times, Skip, as an athlete, you don't get the certain privileges and the certain benefits of a college student.
Yep.
Because you looked at it different. They don't know the guy that's going to the science class that's getting a degree in journalism or something like that.
Agreed.
But you're the quarterback of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. That's going to make the news. Somebody in the drama class that gets a DUI ain't going to make the news.
Nope.
He learned that.
Even in
But he didn't get a
Starkville,
DUI.
Mississippi.
Yes, yes. So he learned at a very young age. Yes, I want to do certain things, but I can't. I forego that. I gave that all up because this is what I wanted to be, and you have to be willing to make those kinds of sacrifices.
Right.
I believe he's willing to make those kinds of sacrifices.
Okay. And some people speculated that's why he fell some in the draft. Well, I'm losing track. Was he fourth round?
Fourth round.
Fourth round. So
You didn't even remember what round he was picked in.
if you redrafted that draft today,
Oh, yeah,
would he not go?
no question he's a first rounder.
Well, he's definitely a first rounder. I'd have to go back and study.
I don't
You
look
can't
at him
remember
before,
that
but
Jared
he
Goff
beat
and
Goff
Carson
was in
Wentz
that
are the
draft.
first two.
He'd be top five-ish,
Oh,
right?
easy.
Or wouldn't he go above those two now?
Probably, because they went 1-2.
Okay, so is it possible he'd go one in that draft? He just well might.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's happened. And yet, as a Dallas Cowboy, no issues. So to your point, that's why Jerry and Steven, well, in the end, that's why Jerry finally caved and said, I just don't have another choice. I got to pay him this kind of money.
I gotta.
And Jerry admitted at the media session, he got me.
Right.
I lost.
Right.
I kept telling you. Jerry got taken to the cleaners, then he got taken to the bank by Dak Prescott.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Skip, is that Dak beat his son. He viewed Tony Romo as a son.
Hold on. He beat him or he earned it? He beat him or he earned it? It wasn't a card game and Jerry Jones lost that to pay up. The only one he earned it. How is it that he beat Jerry Jones? If Dak Prescott wasn't out there playing lights out the way he did, and then you found out after you thought Andy Dalton was going to be the guy that can replace him. This is the way he kind of shades the shit.
Yeah.
And Dak Prescott took the job for he looked at it like Steven, look at Jerry Jr., he looked at it like his daughter, I think his daughter's named Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he viewed Tony Romo.
He did.
Skip, he did not want Dak Prescott to get this job.
And remember, Tony made a concession speech both in the locker room right after the game at Pittsburgh, our first year here on Undisputed. Remember, we were in New York that week, and then we came back, and that was the Sunday game at Pittsburgh. I didn't think they could win that game, and remember, Zeke took the game over. Dak was special in that game. They won at Roethlisberger, and then in the locker room, Romo told Stephen Jones, and it was reported that, hey, you have no idea how hard it is to do what he just did.
Right.
And then that Tuesday, he just gave a concession speech. I give it up. It's his job.
I still believe Jason Garrett and Stephen Jones fought for Dak like Dad. Well, they don't call him Dad. Stephen, they call him Jerry. Jerry, you can't do this.
Yeah.
You cannot give Tony this job back. This kid is playing too well.
Okay.
Yep,
So
he earned it.
Brady.
Yeah, he did, Skip. Hey, injury? You can lose. And I don't know who started that, Skip, where that idea came from. You can't lose.
All right, enough of that. So I had gotten I apologize. It kind of changed what I was doing, but I'd listened to this thing before, and I was like, he got a DUI. I was like he was convicted on it. He was never convicted. He was arrested, and unless you are convicted by a jury of your peers, okay, then it doesn't count. It didn't happen. People can get arrested all the time, but if there's not a conviction, it's not a conviction. You're innocent. And so I heard that portion of it, and I didn't really pay that much attention to the rest of it because I was only half listening to it. But I had somebody who called me that said, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. It's more crap. That's just bullshit. And I was like, let me listen to this again with you guys and see it. And the more I listen to Skip Bayless, the more you see how they throw shade at him. It's kind of like a backhanded, oh, I'm a nice guy. I'm a big fan of his, but, I hope Jerry doesn't get any calls in the middle of the night. Why would you think Jerry Jones would get calls in the middle of the night? Why would you even say something like that? That I hope he doesn't get any. That's like in your back of your mind, you're thinking that he's this bad guy that's going to, lurch his head. But it's funny that they talked about the people in costumes and fearing them. That's very poetic. That is truly Skip Bayless and his My Dallas Cowboys. That mother humper doesn't give a rat's ass about the Cowboys. Doesn't. If he's a Cowboy fan, he's the reason why people hate Cowboy fans, because this mother humper is a two-teamer, stab your ass in the back, SOB all the time. Dak is 19-6 in the division. There you go. And that's the thing that's funny to me when people say, oh, I don't know about the Cowboys and things, and but it's crazy that 19-6. 19-6. Mark, I was so high earlier, I went the wrong job site this morning. Dude, if you're that high, don't go to the job site. You're using power equipment, man. Don't do that. Damn, Hawk, you said that the Cowboys are going to go 13-4. You said the Eagles are going to go like 12-5, and the Giants are going to go like 13-3. I was just like, how are you going to have everybody being like 12-win teams in the division? Derek, you are 100% real. He is a sheep in wolf's clothing. A wolf in sheep's clothing. I got it back. Maybe I'm the one that's high like Hawk. Hawk, did you pass the Dutchie over? Have you smoked so much shit, Hawk, that I caught a contact here online talking with you? Is that what happened? So, anyway, I wanted to originally come on because Rico Dowdle is on injured reserve with a hip injury. No word if he's going to have surgery or not. He will not be able to return this season. He was the third string back. Connor Williams and Dontre Kazee are both put onto the COVID list. Donovan Wilson has a groin pull, and there's no word of how long he's going to be out. So right now, the Dallas Cowboys and Diggs has something going on too. I can't remember off the top of my head. So right now, the Cowboys are actually a little shorthanded in the secondary. And this is, short term, hopefully with COVID. Hopefully this is the end of the people testing positive for COVID. We don't want to keep getting 2 or 3 people every other day that are testing positive as we steamroll on our way down to playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the season opener. And with that being said, we've roasted Skip Bayless pretty good today. I'd say we got Skip Bayless pretty good. One other piece in here which is interesting is Michael Irvin may be joining First Take on Mondays. That might end up being much watched television, getting Michael Irvin going against Stephen A. Smith. So we'll have to wait and see if they end up getting that contract and stuff done, but they are definitely talking about that. And with that being said, I got to get back to my workshop. I got more work to do in there. And right now, we are finished doing it live.
For us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. 5, 4, 3. That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.